Hello and welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. Today's episode of Bourbon Barrel Talk is brought to you by Matt Wagner with Oxenus Partners Wealth Management. Matt and his team specialize in strategic investment and financial planning. With over 70 years of combined experience, they will help find the best solution for your investment needs. Call Matt today at 812-725-8649. So hey Roy, I'm glad you could join us today here at the Neeley Family Distillery. How you doing today?
Doing good.
Good. Our co-hosts today are going to be Mr. Josh Hillman.
Hey.
Matt Jasnoff.
Hey.
And then Toby will jump on periodically, but he'll probably be mainly just on sound today. So, Roy, if you don't mind, well, tell us a little bit more about how the Neeley Family Distillery, I guess, got started.
Okay.
We've talked a little bit about the history and the heritage, and then kind of go from there.
Well, actually, this is my son Royce's idea, his dream. To be honest with you, I wasn't all in at first. I was born in eastern Kentucky, Owsley County, and I saw a lot of illegal moonshine being made as a young boy growing up down those mountains. And so when Royce was young, he'd go back down home with me. I had to go back down to visit Mom and Dad, and he was always intrigued to hear those stories from my brothers, my uncles, and my dad and grandpa. And so on the way back, he'd be right up on the back of the car seat wanting to know, Dad, why they do this, why they do that. And I told him, leave that stuff alone, son. That's illegal. But anyway, so he's going to Transylvania. He gets in now trans in 4 years. Supposed to be a physical therapist. This wasn't the plan for Royce. A lot of times I tell people that story, and they'll say, in some ways he's doing a little therapy. So I guess he is if you look at it that way. So gets in and out of trans in 4 years, starts shadowing physical therapy. Dad, this ain't really what I want to do. I'm telling he was just gung ho set on this distillery thing. Dad, I think I can make it work. It's about getting close to Kentucky Speedway, and so we found a piece of property just by chance. I've been a builder around here for 35 years, so I built a building, built rick houses, and that was we bought the property in 2015, opened to the public here legally. July of 2017, started making it here on site legally 6 months prior.
Good deal. So one of the things that you told us about while we were kind of walking through the distillery and we were taking the tour was about the sweet mash and the cypress tanks and kind of how all that you feel like makes Kentucky bourbon unique versus the other bourbons that are made throughout the country. Could you elaborate a little bit on that for us?
Yeah, so like I said, from day one here, I knew what was going on moonshine-wise. My family had been making it for 11 generations illegal. That wasn't a problem for me. Bourbon was new for me, and I've learned a lot here since we've been open. I kept hearing people say that some of the best bourbon in the world is made in Kentucky, and after tasting a lot, different bourbons and stuff, I've come to believe that that's true, and there's three main reasons why everyone says the best bourbon in the world is made in Kentucky, and I believe it is of course the limestone vault that Kentucky sits on is great for proofing down that bourbon. The harsh winters and summers we have here is great for aging that bourbon, and the third, in my opinion, probably most important one is that the yeast strain that's present in Kentucky is unlike any other in the world. We use open top cypress fermenters here for that particular reason. When that strain goes dormant outside, that mash gets right in the pores on that cypress wood. That cypress is very porous, and then when it goes dormant, then we can still keep that same strain the year round, which is a big deal for us. We do sweet mash. One of only 3 distilleries in Kentucky that sweet mash. You have to use fresh new grains every time when you sweet mash. It's more difficult to sweet mash. You got to really sanitize well. So we use fresh new grains every time. When you sour mash, you take a percentage of that last run and you put it back in the cooker when you go the next time. But sweet mashing is a more flavorful product, and that's what we're all about here at Neeley Family Distillery is quality flavor.
I really wish we could find a way to bottle up that smell that you get when you first walk in your front door, because it hits you and it smells so good.
Yes, sir. We hear that from a lot of people walk in. Oh, I just love the smell. But Yep, that's a nice aroma to walk into every morning. Yes, sir.
It could be worse. Roy, could you tell us a little bit about how it got from the hills of eastern Kentucky to Sparta, Kentucky, to right up here where we are now? What was that family history that was developed to entice Royce to want to be involved in this?
Well, I mean, he to be honest with you, he started making it illegal in college. His mom and I didn't know that, and it wasn't a good day when we found that out. But he was making it illegal and having a lot of success. That's how we found out. He wasn't asking us for spending money for food and stuff, and then we finally got him to admit that he was making it down there illegally.
Was it good though?
Good stuff. Yeah, it was good stuff. I'm not going to deny that. But and then, like I said, he had a passion. I tried to keep him on the straight and narrow. It's sort of funny. I left those mountains in eastern Kentucky to get away from all that illegal stuff. I'm proud of where I'm from. I loved when I grew up in the 70s, 80s down there in eastern Kentucky. But there was a lot of bad times growing up in the illegal part of it. There was some hard times. So I wanted my family to be better. That's why I moved up here, was for work. I've had a company here for a long time, a construction company. First year that I ain't going to be doing it publicly for other people. So that's a good day. Going to be working here at the distillery full time now.
How do you feel about the opportunity to get to spend these days with your son on a daily basis or weekly basis? What's that mean to you?
To be honest with you, I don't know how it could get any better. I mean, there's bumps in the road. Anything you do, I believe that. But to walk in here, get to see him every day, walk beside of him, my wife's here, my niece is here, all family owned and operated. My father-in-law's in here every morning at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, firing them stills up. I don't know how it could get any better. I'll be honest with you guys, in my opinion, as I've gotten older, I think that one of the most important things to me is that when you leave here, and generations that can only look at a picture of you or something or hear about you, but if they can touch something that you've left behind, I think that's a big deal when we all go to our Maker.
That's awesome. When we get together and we're sharing bourbon and talking about whatever we talk about at that time, I mean, that's what I see is kind of that family, that brotherhood, that social time to be together. And you all get to do that on a daily basis and hopefully generating a little revenue with it too.
So far, so good. Yes, sir. Things going well here. We got our signs up on there. Actually, be a year next week. Those signs went up out there on 71, and that's really helped the gift shop, distributing even more and more. Do quite a bit of contracting here. That's just a continuous. So we're pretty much maxed out at what we can do here for the size we are.
It can't hurt that you're sitting right next to the Sparta racetrack either.
Well, that's a big week, and that was one of the selling points. My son, to me, to get me into this was, Dad, we need next to that track. Royce was on that from the get go. And I'll be honest with you guys, he was 25 years old when he got me into this. My son was, and there was a lot of things that he did the first time that he hit on, and I think it's because of preparation. He's into this thing wholeheartedly, into his heart, and that's one of the main reasons I went in with him, is I saw how passionate he was. About 3 months ago, he was standing, we were standing in there before hours one morning by that front door in there in that gift shop, and he was like, Dad, a lot of people hate, they get up in the morning, hate to go to work and can't get home. He said, Dad, I hate to go home. I can't wait to get back to work. And boy, when he told me that, I was thinking, wow, I just hope it can stay that way for him. That's why as long as I'm around here, I'm going to try to keep the family thing intact. I think that's a big deal to be able to say that we're a family-run business.
Yeah, we're just at opening time for you guys. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and already the doors are open. I'm looking at the cameras behind you, and there's already a dozen people in there. So I know that's got to speak volumes to A, what you're doing, and B, to the passion behind what Neeley's doing out here as a family.
Yes, sir. We open at 1 on Sundays. Every other day we open at 11 a.m. So we like I said, so far so good. When we got into this, I know we've been way ahead of every projection on every release. My son was hoping to have a bourbon on the shelf here within 2.5 to 3 years. We released our bourbon here in 16 months. So he's been ahead of everything. But like I said, he really is into what he's doing here.
Yeah, the one thing that I was really impressed with and really enjoyed when you started going through the tour and you started going through the family history of the Neeley history. Can you tell us about the start of all of the history that you went through from the beginning of when we started touring and all the things, or just a synopsis around the overall family history of the Neeley?
Yeah, James John brought us over from Tyrone, Ireland. That's where my family originated from, was Tyrone, Ireland. That's Northern Ireland in the 1740s. We settled into Halifax, Virginia, and then from there to Scott County, Virginia. And then Joseph Neeley, my great-great-great-grandfather, settled us into Owsley in 1850. Owsley's where I was born and raised, went to school down there, played a little basketball down there. But his son, Armand General, was an officer in the Civil War at a very young age. We got his picture in there, got his tombstone. It's right outside in a family cemetery right outside of Boonville. Boonville's county seat, Owsley. And then, but his son Jess was at the helm of the family in the early 1900s, and there was a feud down there between the Allens and the Neeleys, a territorial feud, moonshine feud. And Jess got killed in that feud at age 34. Armand was still alive at that time. He died in 1911, and when that happened, there was a Browning pistol that Jesse killed one of the Allen boys with. He actually died with that pistol on his side. My grandpa Palp, we called him Palp, was 14-year-old when his dad just got killed. He took that pistol off his side that day, kept that pistol for all those years. On his dying bed, he gave that pistol to my oldest brother, Ed. Ed still lives down in Owsley. He had a little gun pawn shop down there for over 40 years. Ed, when we got ready to open this place up here, Ed said that's where that gun needs to be. He gave it to me, and I gave it to my son. We have that pistol on display out here. 6 generations of us have shot and held that Colt. Very cool piece for us. And then Palp, Palp made moonshine pretty much his whole adult life, illegal moonshine. We got an old still in there that he ran for over 70 years illegal. I saw him and my dad run that still illegal in the 70s as a young boy. Matter of fact, we modified our finished still just like his old still. Those line arms, we set them up the same way. We want those vapors to flow the same as his did. We're pretty much a spot on moonshine-wise what my grandfather made illegal for over 70 years.
Yeah, and I mean, walking through your distillery, it's a truly immaculate process the way you do it. Will you kind of go in a little bit of the the double thumping for it and how that came about, and some of the products that came out of it? I mean, that Weeder and the High Rye you guys made, those are phenomenal. Kind of walk us through that process a little bit and why you decided to do that.
Yeah, so my son figured out that when those vapors hit that thump keg the third time, that it really puts some flavor back in to the product. So everything we do here, moonshine, whiskey, and bourbon, we triple pot distill. We distill it 3 times. Now our finished still set up. It's a double thumper still. It's got 2 thump kegs on it. Each time those vapors hit a thump keg, it's a distillation. So we strip the mash, strip the alcohol out of the mash. Then we take that stripped product, we pump it into that double thumper finished still, and then we double thump it. So everything we do here, moonshine, whiskey, and bourbon, we distill 3 times. And then, of course, we make those cuts. Those are all done by taste. Each run's a little different. So every cut we make here, we do it by taste. Like I said, guys, quality's a big deal here to us. It ain't about how much we can make or how much we can sell. Absolutely, we need to sell bottles here. I'm not going to deny that. But those guys out there on that wall, every time I talk or give a tour or I walk in those doors, my dad, Palp, Uncle Charlie, and those guys, Armand, they look at me. They started this. My son and I didn't start this. All my son and I are trying to do is take it to another level. And I'm not going to do anything, and my son's not going to do anything to hurt the quality that those guys started. My grandpa Pap had a name in those mountains, making some of the best moonshines in 6 or 7 counties down there for 70, 80 period. There's guys comes up here right today talks about his recipe from Eastern Kentucky.
That's awesome.
So I never tasted any of what they produced, but I can certainly say that what we got to taste this morning, the bourbon, just the standard bourbon and then the high rye bourbon, they were phenomenal. And the age of them is so young, but the taste and flavor that they brought were amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. Yes, sir. That's what we're striving for. And I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you what I hear from people here. We've heard that a lot. And my son's wheated bourbon at 18 months old won a very prestigious award down there in New Orleans last year. And there was a bunch of entries down there, and my son's bourbon won silver down there, and it was the youngest bourbon in that competition. He beat over 100 3.5, 4-year-old bourbons down there. I was very proud of that. And we're going back next. We go back next week, and we got some. We're entering that rye, so excited to see how it does down there next week.
Roy, maybe this is a good time for you to tell the listeners just what the few products you have here are. Maybe start with the bourbon and then touch a little bit on the moonshine.
Yeah, we have a wheated bourbon. We also have a high rye bourbon. Like I said, that wheated bourbon won that award. I try to say that every time I get a chance. I'm proud of that. And then we have the wheated bourbon. We have our white dog also. That's our bourbon before it enters the barrel. We have that on the shelf out there. After hearing people come through doing tours, and as you guys can witness, well, I'll let you finger taste that white dog. After hearing, oh my God, that's so good, we decided to bottle a little of it. So we've been selling some of that white dog also. We have my grandfather's recipe moonshine. It's 120 proof, very smooth for 120. And then we have an apple pie. We have a regular lemon drop, pink lemon drop moonshines. We have a sweet tea moonshine. We have a blackberry moonshine, and we have a peach moonshine. Now, by triple pot distilling and making those cuts, we can flavor our moonshines a lot higher than most people. All those flavored moonshines are in the 70 proofs. And then, like I said, my son straight's 120. And then we have a salted caramel whiskey, 70 proof, a cinnamon whiskey, 71 proof. And then we have a truffle, cream-based truffle, getting ready to release a couple more creams here in the next couple weeks that we're really excited about. I got some of those samples in here, letting some people try that's come in, and they really like the taste of a couple of these other creams we're getting ready to release.
Do you have a favorite?
If I want to get there, then I'll sip on that 120. You got to be easy with that 120. You sip on that and you're like, boy, that's nice, and get up to go to the restroom and they'll hear you fall in there. So got to be easy with that 120. But as far as a mixed drink, I like taking that truffle, mixing it with a little root beer, and sit around and taste a little of that. Yeah, but it's all good now. Don't get me wrong, it's all good.
Yeah, listen, everybody has a preference with anything that you have.
Yes, sir.
I will say though, I mean, greedily, I'm a high octane guy. Man, I'd really like to see what a barrel would taste like straight up out of that into a barrel. And I know you said you all cut it just a hair from that 130 range that you all bring it out at. So
yeah, my son likes to enter. We enter the barrel around 130, 135. He likes to. I'm sorry. He comes off the still around 140, 145. He likes to enter the barrel around 105 to 110. It's what we like to enter the barrel at. But yeah. So what I've talked to Royce about that, man, he might be able to hook you up on something.
Maybe Royce can throw us a small 20-gallon barrel back there, straight out the still.
I like it. I'm in.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
I'm sure I think he already said we could just go and try it, right? Saying.
I think that is, and we can't get a hold of him because he's in Vegas.
He might be in Vegas.
Well, he can't tell us no.
Yeah, Roy might. He's got a gun.
There were quite a few of those out there, historic in nature.
Absolutely. They're only for historical purposes.
So going back to your distilling process, I mean, you guys have so you built this whole distillery in the rick houses.
That's correct.
You built the pond.
Yes, sir.
Right out that whatever that sauna is for as well.
Yeah. So big box rolls in here, and I'm like, what's that? And he's like, Dad, we need to put that together. And I said, what is it? And he said, a sauna. And I said, a sauna? And he's like, yeah. I said, it looks like a big barrel to me. And he said, yeah, Dad, it's a big barrel sauna. So when him started putting it together, and of course it ended up being me putting it together. and then before we even got the lines put in for the steam, he takes the steam hose that we sanitize with and runs it out there and sticks it in a hole. And I think it got a little warm on him. I said, son, I'll find you in here baked one of these days. But he's got it all. It's all the right way now. So, but yeah, I think I told him, I said, things are getting a little too easy around here when you start seeing things like that sitting around. He sort of chuckled at me a little bit, but he enjoys it. I think he has him a few drinks of bourbon, calm him down a little bit, and gets out there and sweats it out.
So we're saying Royce is real good at being a chemist and a master distiller, but he's probably not much of a builder then.
No. We've all got our thing, right?
That's right. Everybody's got to have a talent, right?
That's it.
So and in relation to that, as far as the rick houses go, I mean, how many barrels do y'all put out a day here, a month, and what's kind of your target for the future? So
we make 2 53-gallon barrels of bourbon here a day. Of course, as you guys could see, that rick house is filling up really fast. So sometime this summer, probably mid-end summer, I'll be building another one. A long term, we got barrels out there, 53s, that my son's got 8, 9, 10-year-old plans for them. My son's motto that's on the back of his bottle, his bourbon, is a taste of what's to come. And I'm real excited about what this bourbon is going to taste like in the future. Look, guys, I've tasted a lot of 8, 9-year-old bourbons, and I'll be honest with you, some of them weren't very good compared to my son's young stuff. And the barrels are great. You got to have a quality barrel, absolutely. One of the seminars that I went to down there last year at the Bourbon Festival was a seed to the barrel, and it was very, very interesting to me because I'm a wood guy. I've been a wood guy my whole adult life. But if that bourbon ain't distilled the proper way, you're not getting max quality out of it on the end. There's no doubt about that.
Could you tell us how far or how widespread the Neeley family distillery is distributed, just to give the listeners an idea of where they can find it?
Yeah, we're in Indiana. We distribute a lot in Indiana. Got a guy there that's really hammering it out for us. We're in 7 other different states here. You can go to our webpage and all those places. We got moonshine in Germany. One of the few moonshines in Germany, which is a big deal overseas. Getting ready to do a couple other things here overseas, I think, here in the near future. So we're branching out there, getting in more states, and that's the goal here. Gradually keep growing, but not leave that family mystique. My son and I went up and down the East Coast a lot when we was building this to try to get ideas from what other people was doing and stuff, and to see other distilleries. And one of the things that we really wanted to keep here is when you walk in our front door, we want you to feel like you're part of the family. We really do. That's a big deal to us. We did not want it to feel like when you walk back here in the back that it's a factory or something. We just wanted to stay away from that. We make stuff here, but we really want it to feel like home when you walk in and out this door.
And it's probably not the building as much as that. It's the people. I mean, your father-in-law's here, you're here, Royce is here. We didn't get a chance to sit with Royce yet, but like just sitting down and talking to you, you're like, here, come on in, let's grab a pour, let's talk about this, let's talk about that, and that really makes a big difference in that situation. Is you care, and caring about what you do makes a whole lot of difference. Like what you said, Royce is passionate about what he does.
Yeah, he really is, guys. I mean, my son is really into this, and I think the future's really bright for Royce in this industry. I really do. He's getting a very good name out there for his quality, and it's always been simple to me, guys. I was taught down in those mountains by guys that didn't have a whole lot of education, but they know how to treat people. You treat people the way you want to be treated, and that's been my motto in my mind. So really, that part of it's come pretty easy for me.
Sorry about that, coughing up here a little bit. If you don't mind, tell us a little bit more about, the family that are all here, working with you. I know you said your father-in-law and you said a few nieces and things like that.
Yes, so
A little bit more detail on how that, are they all from here originally, or did they relocate from, Eastern Kentucky, or how did all that work?
So my father-in-law, Earl Gene Sizemore, he lived on the Clay Owsley line when I was growing up down there in Owsley. Get this one. He bought illegal moonshine off of Pap, my grandpa, underneath that oak tree over in Traveler's Rest. Traveler's Rest right outside of Boonville, a little community. But he bought illegal moonshine off my grandpa underneath that tree before I ever met his daughter, which was really cool. But so we moved up here, like I said, to get away from all that. And it's funny, here I am right back in the middle of the alcohol industry, but we're legal this time.
That's right. You're paying taxes.
And we're paying a lot of taxes, and it's totally different. It's just totally different. But that's the reason I left those mountains, was for work, honest work. I didn't want my kids around that illegal part of it. And then, to be honest with you, once Royce come along, he was my in-law's first grandchild, and when he came along, boy, it didn't take long to Granny and Grandpa come too. So that's the reason they moved up here, was for the grandkids. My niece Josie works here full time, and then my wife's in and out here working all the time. She's been a hairdresser for over 30 years down here in Warsaw. Not doing it near as much now. And the plan for her, probably in the near future, she's probably going to be out here full time. And then I got a cousin, Kyle Steele, that works here also.
Now, you also mentioned that in the near future, your wife and you got plenty of room to expand. We've talked about how much land you all have sitting here, but you said possibly moving into more like a wedding venue and some other things that are going to tie in here. Could you give us a little bit more detail on at least what you think the plans are for the future? Yeah,
that's just something. Well, that's one of the things that we talked about from the beginning here. I mean, when we did the dirt work here right off the bat, we made sure that we got all those that water and the sewer and the electric all stubbed up in the right place and got the ground right for that, because we didn't want to be coming back in here and disturbing stuff again. So we got all that in place. That's something that she's talked about in the future that she may do, is build a venue here, maybe do and maybe do some weddings here. So that and I got a daughter getting ready to get married in September, and let me tell you, I know I'm getting to learn a lot about them venues. So
there's a lot of money to be made in that.
They're expensive. They're really expensive. So yeah, that may be something else we do here in the future. Yes, sir.
Good deal. Well, hey, Roy, we really appreciate your time. I know we're gonna figure out something with Royce here in the near future to have another conversation with him in a little bit more detail. If people want to come out and see the Neeley family distillery, do you want to give them some information on how to get here, or how they can contact you guys, whether it's Facebook, online, whatever?
Yeah, so you can just follow us on Facebook, NeeleyFamilyDistillery.com, and then we're half a mile off of exit 55 on 71, half a mile off the exit. We're easy found. But yeah, so we're on Facebook, so yeah.
So you're about 50, 60 miles from each Louisville and Cincinnati, right?
That's correct. We got a pretty good central location here, Louisville, Lexington, and Cincinnati. And then we're just
can't forget close to Belterra.
About 10 minutes from Belterra. Belterra's been really good to us. They bring groups in and send them over here to us, so that's been a great relationship. And like I said, racetrack, the NASCAR track out here has been outstanding. Race day week's crazy. Wouldn't recommend you coming around during race day week, because we have several thousand people rolling here that week. Big
That's
week.
Awesome.
Now, Roy, can you confirm you guys are on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail Craft Tour? Is it Line B?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, so anybody that wants to get their booklet stamped, got to come here to get it stamped as a part of that.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And we did learn recently that there's some kind of medals or something they can get if they finish the
challenge
tour.
coins.
Oh, the challenge coins.
Yeah, you when you finish each region, we're in the northern region. When you finish each region, there's 4 regions, I think. When you finish each region, you get that coin. When you get that 4th coin, then you get a wooden stave that those coins go in, which is really nice to set on the shelf or something. Yes, sir.
Good deal, good deal. Well, hey, Roy, thanks again for your hospitality. We greatly appreciate it. Sorry we came out of nowhere and didn't know it was happening, but if you want to reach us, you can reach us at Bourbon Barrel Talk on our Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also reach us, look us up on the website at www.bourbonbarreltalk.com. Scott Minton, Matt Jasnoff, and Josh Hillman signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you.